Also,
Okay.
they made a fort. I
Lincoln
love
Fort.
forts. I love forts. Let's go. They made a fort. I love Wendy. I love that Wendy's just like, a fort? Yes. Like, no questions asked. Like, we build a fort.
I also
What's poppin', y'all? Welcome to Post Finale. I'm your host, Ankit Madhira. I'm an actor and a singer who has not seen a lot of films, so to make my friends happy and potentially provide a new perspective on some popular films, I am on a quest to change that. I am never on this quest alone, however. This week, I am joined by director, one of the aforementioned friends who got pissed off at me a lot, and my co-host for Flip the Scripts, Stephan Nieman. Stephan, hello! Welcome to the show again.
Yeah, I'm back, baby. I think the last time I did a post finale episode was Christmas.
It's been a hot minute.
What did we do for Christmas? We did like a specific Christmas episode. I forget what movie.
It was like 2 years ago at this point.
No, it was last year.
No, it definitely wasn't last year because we never did Die Hard, which was the original plan, and then I got sick, and so we couldn't record.
Oh no, but what was it? What was the thing that we did? Because remember that like you and I ended post finale and then we took a break. And then like I forget what we did.
Hey, listeners, we did something.
Or because the last one I really remember was Fight Club, but that was like when we
That
were
was
both,
the first time you were on.
that was no, well, technically the second because I was also your beta tester.
Sure. So was my friend Brad. Let's see. All right, post finale. If we go scrolling through, because it has been a while since you have been on this show, so we're gonna scroll a bit. It is not that. It is not Barbie. It's nope. That's still Boogie Nights. We're still now talking about Twister. You weren't on for Twister.
No, I didn't.
You weren't on for Braveheart.
I don't like Twister.
You've never seen Braveheart. Was it The Shining? No, it wasn't The Shining.
No, because
What was the last episode you were on, Stephan?
I'm pretty sure it was. I'm pretty sure it was.
The Truman Show.
The Truman Show.
Which was January 2024.
Wow, it's been a year.
It's been a year since you've been
There's
on.
no way.
But welcome back to this show. I'm so glad you're here.
It's almost like we see each other weekly for the other show.
Yeah.
Hey,
it's
if
almost
you
like we're
like
best friends and we talk a lot.
If you like post finale and you want to support Ankin and I, please on the same channel, if you're watching on youtube.com/cohost, hop over to Flip the Scripts where you get the entire episode. Just Ankin and I cracking jokes and making each other laugh because we like to.
That's the majority of it. The other side of Flip the Scripts is you and I getting into an argument about whether the adaptation works or not.
Oh my gosh, it's like half the show. I mean, it is the show. But if you really like that, kind of watch over there. Or if you're listening in on anywhere podcasts are held, all of the Flip the Scripts is linked in the description down below. So please follow us on our social medias where you can enjoy both of our podcasts, Post Finale and Flip the Scripts.
Yeah, they're a good time. Now, speaking of post finale, because that's what we're talking about in this show.
Oh,
we are here to talk about Hook.
Yes.
The 1991 film.
Yeah, I can't believe it's that old. It's 4 years older than me. Just pointed that out there.
Yeah. Okay, so you were the one that told me I had to watch this film. Why do you love this film? When do you first remember watching this film? Obviously, it wasn't in theaters.
So I love Peter Pan. It is one of my favorite, like as a kid, watching the original animated Disney Peter Pan is one of my fondest memories, as well as the musical version, so back in the day, you can get a VHS copy. I'm dating myself. A VHS copy of the musical version of Peter Pan, where she was played by a woman. She would fly on stage. It was really incredible. And I just thought that was the most magical thing in the world. And I've always dreamed, now that I'm older, I've always dreamed of directing Peter Pan as like with like the proper fly system and all that good stuff, and actually have an actor fly. I think it'd be the coolest thing in the world. And I think her name was Catherine Rigby, played Peter Pan on Broadway. Um, it was always played by a female because back then it was easier to fly them.
Yeah.
I think I was 5, probably around that time where I first watched this film. Now, back in 2000, probably 2000. Um, my Robin Williams is one of my favorite actors of all time. Rest in peace. And my dad had suggested we watch it because I love Peter Pan. Now, this movie stuck in my memory. I used to play games around it. I used to like improv with my brother. I say improv, it was like young improv where you pretend to be in the movie or you pretend to be a future of the movie. And like I wrote
Right.
a whole sequel to this movie. Like this movie has literally been a part of my childhood. And I love this movie. And when going back to it as an adult, you just realize how impactful this movie is, especially the second half, which I'm not talking about, but the first half sets up the second half so perfectly. Um, and I think just it reminds me as an adult, like when I watch it as an adult, because I've watched it as an adult a lot of times. It just reminds me of adult to not to take myself too seriously all the time and enjoy the little things and remember imagination and remember creativity and just remember that dreams happen through creative endeavors and not through slugging, not through being upset or pushing. It's kind of about discovering and just reminding myself that like people in my life are important. So there's all that kind of in there that like really sticks with me as an adult when I watch it. That's what sticks with me now. As a kid, I just thought it was cool that Peter Pan got old.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. This is what I know about the movie going into it.
Oh, fair, yeah,
Robin Williams.
yeah.
That's it. I know Robin Williams. I
And,
know it is set in the Peter Pan
and the
universe.
hilarious thing is, this is one of the most star-studded casts that I have seen in like a while.
Yeah, it's a star-studded. Like as we're going through, I was like, wait, hold on. I think I recognize this. Like, oh my god, the number of times that I was like, I think I recognize this
I
person.
mean, it has Robin Williams, Dustin Hoffman, uh,
Maggie
Maggie
Smith.
Smith, the who plays Tink? I had Roberts, Julia Roberts.
Oh, is that Tink?
That's
Okay.
Julia
I definitely
Roberts.
I definitely recognized
Yeah,
her,
yeah,
but I
yeah.
was like, I cannot put a name and I don't want to look it up
It's
because
it's
I
it's
don't do that on this show.
it's Julia Roberts. Well, I also love watching a movie on Amazon because you can pause Amazon and it'll show you the cast of characters underneath with their
Wait, is this one
actors.
on Amazon?
Yeah, yeah, well, no, to rent. I paid $3.99.
Oh, I appreciate you. I VPN to the Ukraine.
Oh, is it on Netflix in the Ukraine or whatever?
Yeah, only in Ukraine.
Wow. Well, I hope. Well, geez. Um, that's actually very smart of you. I have a VPN. I just did not VPN to the Ukraine.
Yeah, I always check with the VPN first, and then if not, then I will go to other means of trying to find this
Fair.
film.
It used to be on Netflix, and I really thought it was on Disney Plus because I thought as a kid this was a Disney film. It is not a Disney film, and I think
Yeah.
that's the most hysterical thing to me because Peter Pan is not a Disney IP. It was
Mhm.
used by Disney. It's animated by Disney. It was a Disney film, but the story itself is actually a known fairy tale in the UK. So Disney doesn't own it. It's kind of like Snow White. Any company can create a Snow White movie. It's just Disney kind of monopolized the IP.
Yeah.
Um,
But technically, if anyone wants to make a Snow White movie, they can.
they can, and the Snow White story is public domain.
But yeah.
So are a bunch of fairy tales like Little Red Riding Hood and all these other stuff. Um,
So is Winnie the Pooh now.
no way, that's a Disney creation though. But okay, yeah, I mean, I guess it is.
No, but I'm pretty sure that Winnie the Pooh is now public domain, which is why you have Murder Winnie the Pooh.
Yes,
Yeah.
but no, it's not created by Disney, and I thought that was a really interesting fact that it was like, oh, this is not a Disney film. Um, there is some really cool fun facts though. I don't know if you found this out, but I did. This movie won 5 Oscars.
No, but looked this up at the end of the show, so you know
Okay,
this.
but this movie
Um,
won 5 Oscars. Like, it is an Oscar-nominated film.
wow. Don't tell me what it won
No,
because
no,
I
no.
want
I
to
didn't look.
now.
I didn't
Now
look
that I
that up.
know that it's won, I'm curious to see if I can guess what it won.
I think
for.
it won or it got nominated. I think one or the other. But
like it was at least
it
nominated.
was recognized, and I
Yeah.
think what this movie did was something that had not been seen in 1991. I also think it's really interesting because around this time, Robin Williams himself was just having this big rise to stardom, still doing stand-up comedy. I think he's about to do Genie because I think Aladdin came out in 95.
I think Aladdin came out. Yeah, that sounds right. Let me look up Aladdin real quick.
And it's really interesting because Robin Williams, I think he was
92.
92. So like literally next year
So
he was playing Genie.
he
And
might have recorded Genie right after this, for all we know.
and there's a really interesting fact about, well, we're not doing Aladdin, which you've probably seen, but there's a really
It's
interesting
my favorite Disney film.
there's a really interesting fact about Genie in Aladdin. There's a reason why Robin Williams does not come back for the sequel, Return of Jafar.
Mm-hmm.
It's because Disney used to F over voiceover artists. They didn't pay them. They don't pay them residuals. They do now, which is why after the further agreement, he came back for Aladdin 3, Prince of Thieves.
I think so, yeah.
So there are 3 Aladdins. Also, he's not the genie in the TV show because there was an Aladdin TV show as well.
Yeah, I never watched the TV show. I did watch all 3 films.
There was a TV show. I mean, Hercules was always my favorite as a kid, but I loved Aladdin too.
Hercules and Aladdin are both up there for me.
Yeah. So, but
Yeah.
Robin Williams, Patch Adams, Good Will Hunting, which you literally did watch on this channel.
Oh, yeah, I've seen that one now.
Yeah. So Robin Williams is just amazing. Like he's just on this rise to stardom, and I love it. And
Mrs. Doubtfire comes out around the same time frame as well.
And Jumanji, I think, comes out eventually.
Jumanji, I think, comes out late in the 90s, if I remember correctly.
But I think it's like that idea, like Robin Williams really meshes his stand-up comedy style, which is brilliant, by the way, with acting. And this is a really interesting movie because Robin Williams starts off the movie probably the most serious you'll see him in some of his movies.
The only movie that I've seen him more serious in is Good Will Hunting.
Goodwill, I would also say Patch Adams, he starts very serious as well because of just the...
Okay, I've never seen Patch Adams. I've never seen Dead Poets Society, but I know that he's a fairly serious character in Dead Poets Society.
Patch Adams and Dead Poet are just amazing. Now, I think that it's unfortunate that Robin Williams has passed away. I think he would have continued acting and been really amazing. But there is something that people don't know about Robin Williams' death, is he was going to die from a disease very painfully. And he decided to unalive himself to stop the disease from continuing.
Yeah. A lot of people don't know that portion.
Yeah, they just think he was depressed. He wasn't depressed, actually. He was fully in mind when he did it.
Yeah. Anyway, getting to fun silliness of the movie. Yeah. Let's jump in. So we open seeing a school play of Peter Pan where the director is feeding them lines. And I instantly go, I do this a lot.
I mean, it's an elementary school play. What are you going to do?
Right. I do this a lot. Like,
are you on? I've never been in an elementary school play where the director's like standing there with a little thing and everyone can see them. And
no,
going,
but I have been in, I have done stuff where I'm like off to the side saying the lines.
I mean,
thankfully not like a full-fledged production that I've like staged.
Yeah.
But like the summer camp things and like small things I do, like there are definitely times that I'm feeding lines.
Did we add that joke into Midsummer Night's Dream in the mechanical play where Peter Quince had to feed a line to one of you?
Yeah.
And like in the middle of the show, India.
I think we added it. I'm pretty sure we added it.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a great moment. It's comedic.
And I think it got added because someone just forgot their line in rehearsal.
And Will and Alistair still had a script because he was new to the play.
Yeah, because he had missed like the first week or so, or first 2 weeks or something, because he was working on something else.
Well, he missed the first week because the person who was playing Peter Quince was left.
Oh. Yeah, I don't remember all of that.
No, but it was great and fantastic and worked really well.
Lovely. Anyway, so we're in a play. And,
Peter
So
Pan.
anyway, we're in a play, and it seems like Robin Williams' daughter is stealing the show. We don't know who Robin Williams is yet. I'm not gonna lie. I thought he was Captain Hook. I
Oh,
don't think he's Captain Hook.
okay.
um, and I was like, the daughter is Peter Pan, isn't she? And then Wendy and Peter Pan give each other a kiss. Is it like a Hershey's kiss? Because the kids handed each other something, and I couldn't tell what they
It's a
handed each other.
thimble. It's the
Oh, it was a thimble.
thimble.
It's a thimble.
How do you?
Okay.
It's a thimble and a bead.
Okay.
It's the old Peter Pan fairy tale.
I don't know Peter Pan very
Oh,
well.
okay. So when Peter went to visit Wendy for the first time,
Yeah.
she says, and I quote, "I want to give you a kiss." And Peter holds out his hand. And because he doesn't know what a kiss is, she takes a thimble and gives him a thimble. And then he rips a bead from his loincloth and gives her a bead.
Oh, okay. Adorable. Cute. So Robin Williams gets a call from Brad. And I was like, Robin Williams, have the decency to at least step out of the theater. Do not take a phone call in the theater, you monster. Anyway, whatever Brad wants, it's not possible. Tomorrow he's got to go to London with his family. There is a children's hospital that is dedicating an entire wing to Granny Wendy. And I was like, Granny Wendy? Is this Wendy? Is this the Wendy that we know? Is she old now? I'm confused. We learned that Robin Williams is named Peter. And so I was like, so he's an old Peter Pan? I thought he was Captain Hook. Okay. Was wrong instantly,
Yes.
but we live.
Yes, you're wrong.
Now, it's the majority of this show.
Yeah.
Peter Pan agrees to have a meeting in the AM, and the son is like, but you promised to come to my game. It's the final game of the season. And Peter promises that he will be there. His word is bond. And I literally wrote, he will not be there. Now, it's the baseball game. Oh, look, Peter Pan isn't there. Well, Peter, he's not Peter Pan right now. He's just Peter. He's Peter something. We learn his name eventually. It's like Burning, Brown, I don't know.
Banning.
It's Banning. There we go. Look, there are a lot of B names floating in my head right now doing Oliver as well.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, makes sense.
Yeah. So we're at a baseball game. The daughter, I just want to point out, so elegant with that hot dog. Perfect.
What do you mean she's... just the way she's eating it?
Just, it is the absolute epitome of this child. This hot dog is too big for the kid to deal with. There's too much going on. The kid doesn't know what's happening, but they're going to town on this hot dog and trying their best.
Yeah, I love a Costco dog. That's my go-to.
I've never had one. They have beef.
Well, yeah.
But... yeah, no, I just laughed because I just looked at it and I was like,
the best thing to have.
The kid understood the assignment.
That's the best thing to have in a baseball game is a hot dog.
Mm.
Or nachos, I think.
Or nachos. I like nachos when I go to a baseball game.
Yeah, I mean, we should go to a baseball game sometime.
I would love to. Yeah, we need to end up in the same city again. That's the first thing.
Maybe the Mariners are playing when I'm up and visiting.
Look, here's the thing, is I can almost guarantee you we can always get tickets to a Mariners game.
Yeah, they don't do well, do they?
They're not that good.
So, yeah, baseball games going on. I think you missed something that Santa's pitching, and I thought this was really cool and clever. I guess they would, like, theme. Yeah, that was one of the things. Santa's umpiring already. Did you not see the umpire had, like, a white beard, Santa?
I didn't realize it was supposed to be Santa. I just thought that it was an old dude umpiring.
No, it's Santa. They literally say it in the scene where she's like, Santa's gonna be there.
Oh, yeah, I 100% missed that.
So, because I guess it's around Christmas time, and that's the feeling that they want you to understand. It is around the holidays.
It's around the holidays. I definitely picked up that it is around the holidays.
Now, this movie, I don't know if it would be classified as a Christmas movie, but it is around the holidays.
Right. That being said, I don't know where they're living in the U.S., but I don't know any baseball season that runs into December.
California.
You all are messed up people. Anyway.
Our weather is fine. Our weather is almost good year-round. I mean, other than the fact that sometimes we get rain and snow. I mean, the amount of...
Oh, you'll get something significantly worse than that.
Sun?
No.
Cloud? Fog?
No.
Smog?
Keep going.
Wind.
Okay, you were closer with smog.
Uh,
What creates the smog, buddy?
Pollution.
Okay, the other one that creates smog, naturally.
Oh, smog is not natural.
Well, kind of is. Smoke, smog, similar.
Oh, fires. Oh, that was
You
a
guys got a
bad
lot of
joke.
those.
We've had, yeah, no, we do.
Yeah.
But
Look, there's a reason that one of my favorite jokes about California is that California is just the Fire Nation from Avatar. They're always on fire, and then they just slowly keep taking over the rest of the United States.
we move, yeah. More people
Any,
leave California than come to California lately.
yeah, for obvious reasons.
Okay, let's keep going before we get
Moving
political.
on. I don't mind California. Like, don't get me wrong, California is lovely. I just don't know if I want to live there
Hey, that's
all the
fair.
time. I love visiting. I love coming down and doing work there. I just don't know if I want to live there all the time.
Fair.
Anyway, Peter Pan sends someone to film the game so he can watch what he misses, aka the whole game. He is given a speech that is written by Ned Miller for Grandma's tribute. He loves Ned Miller speeches. And so it seems that Granny Wendy, and she has dedicated her entire life to helping orphans. The son, meanwhile, it's back at the big game, and it's time for him to get his big catch. And nope, we cut back to Peter Pan, who is catching a phone and then quick draws a phone release. Apparently, this is a common thing. Why are they having a weird, like, Old West standoff for picking up a phone
It was
call?
the 90s. Cell phones weren't common, but those brick cell phones sure were.
Oh, no. I don't mind the phone or anything about. Why are they having an Old West standoff to who can answer their phone faster? And why is this a common thing that seems to happen in this workplace?
I don't know if it's a common thing in just this workplace or common in every workplace back in the 90s. I didn't work in the 90s.
Hey, anyone that
ask my
had an
dad.
office job in the 90s, let us know if this was just common all around.
I could ask my dad. I mean, he was living in, I think he was working in the insurance company in the 90s, so.
But here's the thing is, did your dad have one of those cell phones?
Yeah.
Okay, then he might be a reliable source.
Because I found it.
Oh, okay.
When I was like 4 years old or 5 years old, in the playroom, in like a chest, I found the big brick phone. It was gray. It was huge. It was bigger than I had to hold it with two hands. And I went, what's this? My dad went, that's a cell phone. I went, this is a cell phone?
That's fair. Now, everyone says bye to him as Peter leaves. Again, nobody does this. Nobody has enough time nowadays. Maybe the 90s were different where you could just take time and wave to someone. I mean, I guess that is true because John Mulaney has a joke where he's like, back in the day, people used to just kill time. They used to go to the docks just to wave at a boat until it was across the horizon because they had nothing better to do with their lives.
We have phones now. We have work. We have other things. Back then, you wanted to wave goodbye.
You wanted to wave goodbye. It was lovely and such a kinder place.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know. There were issues in the past.
The
too.
90s.
Don't get me wrong. Anyway, everyone says goodbye to him. Meanwhile, the son unfocused at the game because dad isn't there. Mom says, please no curveball. It's definitely going to be a curveball. Oh, look, he's out. He lost the game. Bada bing, bada boom. Now,
and the
Peter,
guy he sent to film shows up too.
Oh, yeah. He did get the film, and all he got the film was
Jack
the strikeout.
Yeah. So when he sent him to film the big game, he sent him
late. He sent him late. Like, you don't send him before the game starts. I don't know. I don't get it. Peter, not being a very good dad right now. Peter gets there late, parks in the fire lane curb, and nobody's at the field by the time he gets there. I have a gripe with this.
Okay. What's your gripe? That he parked in the fire lane?
No. Ignore the fire lane bit. I don't really care about that. Yeah, that's fine. I mean, that's part of it, but not really. The way the road is set up, he drove past the parking lot to then park onto the road where it is the fire lane and proceeded to still be late. Now, he didn't just pass the parking lot. Also, the way the road is set up, he has to drive past the parking lot on that road. He can see the field is empty as he drives on that road to get to where he parked the car. We don't need the sad reveal that nobody's there, because the way that he would have driven in the car, he would have noticed that nobody's on this field because there's only one road and it curves around the field.
Or
and so he could have seen it.
Focused on something else. Maybe he was on his phone or checking something.
He was so focused, he missed the fact that there was nobody on an entire baseball field or in any of the stands. And there were like 3 cars in the parking lot.
He might have missed it because he was on his phone checking something. Or
Steven.
He's a bad dad. Let him be a bad dad.
I get that he's a bad dad. He's a horrible father right now. But like, are you kidding me? He could see it.
Well, they just wanted an outside shot instead of inside. So what do you want from me?
It could have been an outside shot, but like have him park in the parking lot, for goodness sake. Don't do the weird thing with the road when you can clearly see as an audience member that he had to drive on that road to then get there.
Or they wanted to show that not only is he a bad dad, but he breaks the law too. By parking in a fire lane.
Fine, whatever. Peter gets another call while he's at the field, and it's fucking Brad. Sorry, Ant, you're gonna have to bleep that one out.
Wait, Ant, I got you. Just use my bleep.
No, please don't. Now, we're off on a flight to London, and there is slight turbulence. This is my guess of what is going to happen.
Now, we've been on this flight to London. I know this flight to London. It's an 8-hour flight.
Yeah.
It's not bad, actually. I think the
It's
first time I flew to London, I was like, okay, here we go. Because I was by myself and, was like really close to post-COVID. 2021.
I flew during COVID.
I know. I remember when I got
the entire row to myself, and I had the middle seats.
Okay, so I remember I got a phone. When I got to LAX, they said we had to wear a mask in LAX, and on the plane.
Makes sense.
On the plane, they were like, "Oh, you can take your mask off." Like as soon as I boarded, they were like, "You can take your mask off." I saw half the people take their mask off, half the people put it on. We arrived in England, and I still had my mask on because I was like, "Oh, I think you have to wear it in the airport." That was just my assumption. And then I had people at the gates going, "You don't have to wear your mask anymore. The mandate's over." And I just went like this. Oh, okay. I still had to get a PCR test to attendees 15 the next week or something. But I just thought it was funny.
No, I remember when I flew during COVID, right? Because I went September of 2020 is when I moved to London. And I remember then I had to wear a mask the entire time. In the flight, they did say because of how spread out we were, there was nobody, and the flight was so underbooked, right? But there was nobody in the row in front or the row behind, I think almost anyone. The only time that there were more than one person in the row, and they staggered it. So if someone was in the middle row, then that same row didn't have someone in the sides, but they were in the row behind, so it was staggered. So truly it was one person or one family per row. If you were traveling as a family, you could sit together. But so they said if we were in your seat, you could take your mask off if you wanted to.
Nice.
But if you were getting up to go to the bathroom, if you were getting up to move, stretch your legs, please put your mask back on and move.
I remember.
If you were sitting in your spot, you can take your mask off, just because we were well between 6 feet apart from anybody else.
I remember flying home to the UK that one Christmas Eve. Remember how that one Christmas
2021?
Eve? 2022.
2022 Christmas.
Yeah, I flew home on Christmas Day to surprise my parents. And I had the whole plane to myself almost.
Yeah.
Like almost the entire plane to myself. I
One of
think
my
I was
favorite things to
one
do
of
is traveling on holidays that everybody else celebrates, but I don't.
I was one of 25, and I still landed in LAX on Hanukkah, which was amazing. So I get to like celebrate Hanukkah with my parents.
Nice.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
they're flying to England. We've been on this flight before. One thing I will say, when turbulence is that bad nowadays, they will not serve the food. The trays have to be up during that turbulence. But
No, but here's the thing is I think this is what happened because this has happened to me
yeah,
that they serve the
and
food
then turbulence hits.
and then turbulence hit.
I've never had that happen. I've actually it's always been food. Close the thing. Oh, here comes the turbulence.
Yeah, no, it happened to my family once we were flying back from India
Oh, makes sense.
and like they had given us food and then the turbulence got really bad.
Yeah. I will say the food on this plane looks a lot better than the food nowadays.
I will say though, I think airplane food still does get a lot of crap. It's decent. It's fine. It's honestly possibly healthier than the fast food that y'all eat.
Just get the kosher meal, and then you'll have a better meal experience.
Look, I always get the Hindu vegetarian meal and it's
Yeah,
great.
well, the kosher meal has to be like specifically separated from every other meal, and there's like,
Well, so does like
yeah,
Hindu
yeah, of
vegetarian. Like
course,
it needs to
they're,
be
the
separated.
religious meals are like if you just say that you need one, and then no one could say otherwise because they can't ask you what religion you are.
They can't question, but like you just have to request it in advance.
Yeah, yeah,
Like you just got to be smart and be like, I would like this
the
meal in
one time
advance.
I requested a kosher meal and then they forgot to give it to me. They forgot to put it on the plane. I just remember the people coming over being like, "We're so sorry. Can we give you a vegetarian meal?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." And it was delicious.
Yeah, the first time, like that's happened to me a couple times. Like
Yeah.
I've flown a good amount to where like it happens every now and again where it's just like, "Ooh, sorry, like we just don't have it." But like one of the times they were really nice and they were like, "We don't have any regular vegetarian meals left, but we have some first class vegetarian meals left. Would you like that?" And I was like, "Hey, say less."
I will say, business class and first class meals. Uh,
I was like, "Say less."
my dad took me business class the other like once. We were flying back from my graduation and he upgraded our tickets to business class. Like he was like happy graduation gift, and I was like, "Are you sure?" Because we sat in economy delight on the way there. Economy delight is not a delight. So
I love getting upgraded to economy premium for the more legroom for me who really needs the more
my
legroom.
dad and I are too big for even that. So we have to sit in like business. So we're in business class. My leg room is amazing. I mean, we're in the front of business class. So we have like the full
Oh,
experience.
nice.
Um, but they come over with the menu and they're like, "Oh, by the way, do you want free alcohol?" And I was like, "Yes."
You had me at free.
Yeah. Well, oh, champagne, prosecco, sure.
Look. You have me at free. Almost anything you tell me is free, I'm gonna get it.
Yeah. One thing I do miss though is just working at a pub after a long day and just getting all, at the end of the pub work, you just have a pint. That was one of my
Yeah.
favorite things. Um,
Anyway, we're like 30 minutes into this episode and we've gotten nowhere into this film. We
it's
got to get back onto
fine.
this. We need to be somewhat streamlined on this topic, maybe somewhat. Hi listeners, thank you for sticking around. Anyway, this is what I think is going to happen the moment I hear that there is turbulence. Is that the turbulence is going to be slight, and by that it's not going to be slight. Peter Pan and the family will get blown to Neverland, where Peter Pan will have to fight Hook and save the Lost Boys and the day. So Hook has taken and captured the Lost Boys, and Peter Pan is going to have to go in and save the Lost Boys and rescue them. And then that's going to help him rekindle his bond with his family as well, because we've been seeing that he's a bad dad. But maybe, like, the Lost Boys being in trouble, the kids love these stories. So they're going to be able to help the dad. And then that's going to bring back his youthful spirit. This is what I think is going to happen. I am proved instantly wrong. So the minor turbulence is causing everything to shake. Peter Pan, rigid. He is terrified of flying. Meanwhile, the daughter has drawn a plane, and their plane is on fire and crashing into the sea. She, Mom, and Jack. Oh, also the daughter's name is Maggie, by the way. We'll get to that in a minute when I actually learn it, but it's not really a spoiler. But the daughter's name is Maggie, and the mom's name is Moira. So Maggie, Moira, and Jack all have parachutes. Peter, on the other hand, plummeting to his death. I'm pretty sure there's a shark in the water as well. But throughout all of this, I love that it is still a sunny day.
Yeah. It is.
I love this drawing. It's incredible. Peter then is just like, okay, and then goes to talk to his son, who's throwing a baseball against the ceiling of the plane. I know it's the early 90s, but my God, could you do anything on a plane back in the day?
Yeah, you
You
could.
can't even get a baseball on the plane nowadays.
No, you can't.
Peter tells him to stop. He's going to break a window. And Jack just goes, they're double layered. You can't break them. Proceeds to hit the window with his ball. Peter yanks it away. I love this kid. No notes for Jack. Incredible. I would hate this kid if I have to deal with this kid. But watching someone else have to deal with this kid, incredible. No notes.
Okay.
Jack says that Peter is afraid to be sucked out. They go back and forth about this a little bit. Peter promises that he'll come to at least 6 games next year. And Jack just goes, yeah, be sure to buy enough videotape. Ooh, solid burn. Jack is justifiably upset.
Yeah,
Jack is in the right.
okay, it's your dad. If your dad missed a baseball game, the most important game of the season, the last game of the season,
and one that he said, my word is my bond, I will be there.
Right? And it's like, he could have literally been like, no, I already have this day off of work. I have to go to this, and then I have to fly to London. You can do it without me, though, for the day.
Right? Or like, even if it is, I can call you, but I have to be at that game. Right? So it's like, I will have a phone call with you in between the game and going to London, but I have to be at that game, right? Like, Peter, be a better dad. Anyway, Peter says, my word is my bond, and gives the baseball back. And Jack says, yeah, junk bond. Jack then throws the ball once more and then hits the panel to let the oxygen masks fall. And Peter yelps. And Peter just goes, when will you stop acting like a child? And Jack's just like, I am a child. Great. Lovely. We're in London. Woohoo! It's been a long time since they were there and back to see Granny Wendy. Maggie asks if Granny Wendy is the real Wendy from her play.
Mm-hmm.
And then we get, yes, not really, sort of.
So
and
we're either in, and I was trying to find the exact location of London where it's at. We're either in.
I was too, but I couldn't figure it
out. We're
out.
either in Lambeth, which is across the bridge from Big Ben.
Uh-huh.
Or we're in Westminster near Big Ben. So
I think based on the style of the houses, I would err to Lambeth.
So I thought it was, when I first saw the house, I thought we were in South Kensington, Chelsea, because obviously those houses.
Yeah, those houses are real nice.
Yeah, and the house is nice. I just thought that's where we were. And I'm like, oh, the Drain Arms pub is literally down the street. I actually wouldn't be surprised if that's where they filmed it.
Yeah, but I think setting-wise, like, we would be in Lambeth, most likely, based on what we see later from Tink.
Yeah, and also the Charing Cross and everything is probably, like, literally right there.
Yeah. They probably filmed the house in Chelsea, South Kensington area.
But it's also literally, Chelsea, South Kensington is literally down the street from that area, so
right.
it's all there.
It's all one massive area. Like, it literally...
Yeah. We're
Lambeth,
on
one street.
We're on the south side of the bridge,
nice.
by the way. For those who like to understand the geography of London, we're on the south side of the Thames, where they are, which is the hardest side to get to because most of the tube lines don't run there.
I can't wait until they make it better.
They have overgrounds, and overgrounds will take you farther into the south side, but most of the tubes actually run more in the north. For those who don't understand the geography of London, it's
confusing.
It's confusing, but there's one train line that literally goes under the Thames. There's actually a couple. The Jubilee line goes under the Thames. But then it goes back to the northern side. Once you get to Finsbury Park, Finchley. Yep. Then there's the northern line that just stays in the north. Then Elizabeth line, kind of, but more to Heathrow.
Elizabeth line kind of does, and then the Bakerloo line does
Well, the Bakerloo
go
line
under as well.
purposely. Well, there's the Waterloo line and City line that literally just goes under and back and forth.
Yeah. That one just goes back and forth. Bakerloo does have a moment where it goes under as well,
And
I believe.
Westminster and City line, I
As
think so.
I think so. Yeah, anyway, there are a few, but the South Side, they just like that's where back in the day all the poor people lived, which is why they didn't care about public transit to get there.
Well, it wasn't called. Well, the rich area of South Kensington and Chelsea has a tube line, but
Right.
they were one of the
They
few.
do.
The district line literally drops you off right there. But
Yeah.
the irony of it is the fact is because London south of the bridge wasn't known as London back in the day; it was known as Suffolk. It wasn't until post Elizabeth I that it was all London.
Yeah. Anyway, so we're in London. It's been a while, and so this is where I've like clocked like, okay, so this is definitely the Granny Wendy from the Peter Pan stories.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, okay, so Peter doesn't marry Wendy like I thought he would in this version of Peter Pan growing up. He came back and met a new wife later, who is now Moira. I don't know how Moira connects to this story. We'll find out.
We'll see.
Yeah. This seems to be the first time the kids are meeting Granny Wendy, but then also later it doesn't seem like this. So I'm so confused by, do these kids know who this lady is?
They do, but Wendy's known them since they were very little, so they're hard to remember. So Peter and his wife Moira used to visit Wendy a lot, and then as he's gotten older and more into business and more doing what he's been doing, he stopped visiting her. This is like a first time in probably like 5 years.
I think they say 10.
10 years, okay, and Jack is probably 10.
Right. So how does Maggie know Wendy? And how does Wendy know Maggie?
Maggie's probably heard of.
No, but it's like based on what it looks and like what we hear when we meet Wendy in like 30 seconds. It feels like Wendy knows Maggie or has seen Maggie before.
Well, there's a reason why. I want to say why, but I don't know if I'm allowed to because I don't know if it's a spoiler.
Then let's err on not, and let's just err on Ankit's gonna be confused for a while.
If
I can also take off my headphones and you can explain it to the audience.
Yes, take off your headphones.
Okay. Wave when I'm allowed to come back.
Okay. So Moira is Wendy's grandma. Moira is Wendy's granddaughter. So technically, Wendy is the great grandmother of both Jack and Maggie. And Jane, who is the missing mother of Moira, isn't there. Jane, we know from if you watch Peter Pan 2, which is a Disney film, but still Jane is the chronological daughter of Wendy. So Moira is related, which is why Maggie would know of her great grandmother Wendy, and Wendy would know of her great granddaughter Maggie.
Oh,
headphones are back.
Your hand wasn't in the frame. I couldn't see it.
I went like this. Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, but your hand wasn't in the frame on my screen.
Bad.
I couldn't see it. Cool. Okay. So, someone opens the door and they say, "It's snowing," and then slams the door in their faces. No notes. Jack laughs, chokes out a piece of gum. Incredible. Liza opens the door and we hear, and this is where we learn that mom's name is Moira. Moira loves this house and all the memories of her and Peter as kids in this house. And I was like, oh, was Moira also an orphan? We'll find out. Meanwhile, Wendy is watching ominously from the stairs. Wendy makes her way down, and Moira says she told Gran that she'd get him here. It's been 10 years between visits, but never mind that.
Mm-hmm.
And this is where I clocked, oh, this is where this beautiful scene is from. I saw this a lot when Dame Maggie Smith passed away last year because it had been exactly 10 years between Robin Williams passing away in 2014 and Maggie Smith passing away in 2024.
Oh, wow.
And so I had seen that a lot where it's been 10 years between visits, but never mind that, you're here now.
Yeah.
And it was beautiful. It was a beautiful way to tribute both of these legends.
I will
Now,
also say this is such a good movie. The cast is star-studded. It's great.
yeah, also, can I just point out Maggie Smith being a boss playing grandmothers for like 40 years?
I will also say Maggie is younger here than she was when she played McGonagall.
Yeah. She looks older in this.
Right? Very good.
Makeup.
Very good.
Uh,
She did a very good job.
I wish I got a chance to meet that wonderful woman.
Yes.
There are a lot of people that I wish that I got a chance to meet, but she is very much up there on that list of people I wish I had gotten to meet. Because everything I heard about them was wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Wendy has one rule in the house: no growing up. Stop this very instant. This includes Mr. Chairman of the Board Banning. This is, I think, where we learn his name is
A
Banning.
big job.
Yeah. Wendy asks what was so terribly important about his terribly important business, and Jack explains that when a big company is in trouble, Dad sails in. Peter tries to cut him off and says that he's just in merger and acquisitions and dabbling in land development. But then Jack chimes back in and goes, "Any resistance," and he blows them out of the water. And Wendy seems very unimpressed and just goes, "Peter, you've become a pirate."
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, dun dun dun. How dare. Now, later that night, Peter heads up to the room, and it's the same one that Wendy must have slept in as a child, and it's the first one that Peter came back to, like when he was coming to the house. This is that bedroom. And the painting on the wall has Neverland and Hook, and Peter gets chills from this, and then he closes the windows. Moira says that Brad's on the line, it's urgent. Wendy asks Peter how he likes her dress. He blows her off and just says it's great. Peter, be a better human. Now,
It's always
Brad
Brad.
has fucking Brad. Which one of my best friends from high school is also named Brad. Brad, you're great, but that was also one of like our consistent jokes. It was always just like, God damn it, Brad. So that was a consistent one for us growing up. Was just, damn it, Brad.
Yeah.
Now, Brad has called, and things don't seem to be going well. Something about the Sierra Club report. They found a blue owl, and Peter's pissed because a 10-inch owl has a 50-mile mating radius. And I go, it's almost like they have wings and can fly. And Peter doesn't care about the environment either. And I was just like, Peter has changed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Meanwhile, the kids having fun with shadows, and Jack's shadow is growing larger and larger, and we learn that this is a $5 billion deal, and it's falling apart because of a tiny owl with wings. Jack yells, and then Peter says, "Someone shoot me." Jack yells, "Bang, bang." And Peter loses his cool, yells at Jack and everyone to shut up, to leave him alone for a moment, and he's on the phone call of his life. Wendy hears this happen in the hallway. She seems very upset, tells the kids that she'll show them the window where she and Peter used to stand and blow out to the stars. And Peter says that he shouldn't have come until the deal was done. Moira says that it's been 10 years and Gran asked you to visit. You promised the kids real time. You've looked at your phone more than you've looked at them. How many more broken promises? Moira coming in with just guns blazing. She's just like, all right, I'm done with
Tell me
this.
with the facts, the British facts too.
She's just like, facts. Now, where we're at is the phone rings again, and Peter says that he's gonna take the call. He needs to fix this, and Moira says, "No, you gotta fix your family first." Peter looks at her and then goes to answer the call. Moira grabs the phone and throws it out the window. First of all, no notes for Moira. Second of all, we've lived in London. Who was keeping their windows open in December?
If it's a window that opens like that, sure.
Well, your windows didn't open.
My windows did open. That was the problem.
They were only ever open.
They didn't close
They didn't close.
properly.
Yeah, my window let me walk onto the roof, which was very unsafe.
Yeah, so I know it's snowing out because obviously there's snow on the ground and everything.
Right.
But, there's something about the fresh air of London, I guess. I don't know.
Oh no. Anyway, whatever. The window's open. Moira hates the deal and is sorry that Peter feels so badly about it. She tells him that his children love him and want to play with him. How long do you think that is going to last? Soon Jack may not even want you at his games. We have to take a few special years with our children when they want us around. After that, you'll be running around after them for a bit of attention. A few years and it's over, and if you're not careful, you're going to miss it. Meanwhile, a dog has grabbed the phone and starts to bury it, and Brad's voice gets lost to the ether. Perfect. No one needs to hear from Brad for the rest of the film.
Let's go, Nana. That's the name of the
Let's
dog.
go. Is that the dog's name?
That's the dog's name. Sorry, I just
Let's go,
spoiled
Nana.
it. Sorry, you get the dog at the end, but
Oh, that's okay. It's a name isn't much of a spoiler
yeah.
because all I know is that now I have a name for the dog.
But there's a whole reference to the dog because obviously the dog from the original cartoon, the Peter Pan cartoon, I think is also named Nana.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Cool. That's where we're gonna take our intermission, and then we'll be back. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the intermission. I hope you're all enjoying these episodes following Hook and all the fun that Robin Williams and this star-studded cast brings to this film. Now, just a couple of housekeeping things before we get back into this incredible film. First off, thank you so much for listening to this episode. We hope you are enjoying it. If you would like to support the show and gain access to some bonus content, you can do so by heading over to patreon.com/coopforge. So that's patreon.com/CO_OPFORGE. Sign up for any of the tiers. You get access to different types of bonus content like our notes. You get access to our Discord. You can also get access to bonus videos or bloopers and things that didn't make the final cuts of the episode that we actually published live. So all of that lives over on patreon.com/coopforge, CO_OPFORGE. And thank you to anyone who does sign up. All the money that we make from the Patreon goes right back into these shows, helping us not be in the red while we are making the shows and the fun content that we love making for you all. Now, if you want to help out the show in a non-monetary way, that is fantastic as well. Thank you so much. There are a couple ways that you can do this. One, word of mouth is a great way to help raise awareness of the show and just promote the show in general. Just reach out to a friend, reach out to someone who listens to podcasts and is just like, hey, there's this podcast and it's an actor going in and it's a deep dive looking at films and his thoughts, his predictions, but also just a deep dive into the scenes and what they make you think about. And it's a really fun time and a good listen. It really does help us out a lot. Be sure to talk about us and follow us on social media at coopforge, CO_OPFORGE on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. And then you can also follow at Post Finale Pod on Instagram. And we have some fun conversations over there. Talk about us, share videos, and just talk about the podcast on social media. That helps us out a lot as well. Now, last but not least, I just want to say a huge thank you to all of you who have already done this. Anyone who will do this in the future, just thank you so much. And let us get back into this episode and figuring out what in the world is going on with Robin Williams in Hook. So Wendy is reading them a story.
Yes.
Also, I don't know if this is intentional, but I love the fact that the daughter's name is Maggie and that Maggie Smith is playing Granny Wendy. I don't know if that was intentional, but I'm going to say that it was, and I love it. Also,
Okay.
they made a fort! I love forts. I love forts. Let's go. They made a fort. I love Wendy. I love that Wendy's just like, a fort? Yes. Like, no questions asked. Like, we build a fort.
I also like the
Now-
fact that Wendy's willing to like get down in the fort with the kids, and also
Oh
I just
yeah,
wanna point
Wendy's
out,
like,
she's preparing
let's
to
go.
go to this gala, but what does she do? She's like, no, I'm gonna spend time with my grandkids or my peoples,
My great grandkids, I think.
my great grandkids. Yes, they are her great grandkids. I'm gonna spend
Great
time with my great grandkids, and then I'm gonna leave. I'm just gonna leave after,
Yeah, yeah.
or I'm not gonna.
It's-
She almost misses the event. I feel like if I were her, I'd be like, yeah, I'm just gonna miss the event.
Oh yeah, like she was dressed, she was ready.
Yeah.
And then it wasn't like she wasn't not ready for the event. She was ready, and then she was like, before I leave, we're gonna go hang out in a fort, and it's gonna be incredible. Now, Wendy says that she is Wendy, or at least was a long time ago. Maggie says that Jack tells her that the stories are that from the story that Maggie says that Jack tells her that she is not really the real Wendy from the
Mhm.
stories. Wendy points that Jack is in the same window and that they are in the same room where all of these bedtime stories about Peter were made. The neighbor liked their stories so much that they wrote it into a book 80 years ago. And then Maggie just goes, "You're very old." And Wendy's just like, "That's very true."
Oh, poor Maggie.
Yeah, but like, no, poor Wendy.
Poor
But like,
Wendy,
here's
but Maggie was so kind about it though. She doesn't
no,
mean
but like,
to.
it was said in that like sweet, innocent way of like, "Grandma, you're old." It's like, yes, I am.
Yup.
Right? It's the same way. Like sometimes the kids come up to me now and they're like, "Wow, you're old," and I'm like, "Okay, two things. One, how old do you think I am?" And then they're like, "40," and I'm like, "Got it. So you have no concept of age, but like,
They
yes, I
don't.
am
They
older than
don't
you."
at that age. When the kids find out that I'm 29, they go, oh, "You're only 29? You're younger than my dad." I'll get that a lot, or I'll get, "You're older than my mom," and I'm like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah, I get that a lot. I also get the kids don't actually think I'm 27.
Yeah. The ages don't mean anything to kids.
I also have a baby face.
Yeah, but ages don't.
I'm playing a 16-year-old on stage right
I
now.
mean,
Like,
I also have a baby face when I shave. I think we all get baby faces.
some more than others.
Yes.
Yes. Anyway, so the neighbor wrote down these stories, and that's how these stories came to life and into books. Peter comes in to get Wendy, and Maggie makes Peter a parachute so he won't be scared next time he flies. Aw,
Yay.
look, he's now gotten a
And they
parachute.
call it a hug.
Yay. Peter tells Jack to get away from the open window, not to play near it. And then he goes, "How many open windows do you play at near home?" And Jack's just like, "None. All the windows at home have bars on them." And I was just like, "Oh, it's a prison." That was my instant thought.
Or a,
I don't
or
know
or
why.
a Los Angeles home in the 90s.
Oh, okay. Um, Jack can't find his baseball. That's got to come into play later. I don't know how, but Jack's baseball is going to come into play later.
Okay.
I don't know how, but
Okay.
Jack's baseball. Maggie says that, you know, the mean, scary man at the window stole it. And, I was wondering at this moment, why is Peter denying all of this? Like, none of this ever happened. Like, he is not Peter Pan. Like, Captain Hook isn't real. Why is he denying all of this? This is my thought, is that something is going to be revealed later in the story, that there's going to be like some life altering changing event that happened in Peter's life
Mm,
that then makes him forget all of this. It's going to change him for the worse. Like, there's going to be a specific turning point that will change what has happened
yeah.
and where Peter has lost all of this imagination.
Fair.
I don't know where that is, but like, that's the only way that I am able to think of, like, why is Peter the only one that's not able to remember this stuff? And like, why is he so adamant about not remembering this stuff?
Fair.
So Wendy, meanwhile, asks about the baseball mitt, and Jack says, "Well, you can catch things with it. You can take things out of a hot." Wendy asks about the baseball mitt, and Jack says, "You can catch things with it. You can take hot things out of the oven with it, and you can hit your sister with it." Solid number of things to do with a baseball mitt.
Yeah. I mean, he's
Yeah.
10 years old. If he has a little sister, he's ready.
Look, we were both 10 at one point. You have a little sister. I have an older sister. Baseball mitts were useful.
Baseball mitts. Baseball bats were useful.
No. That's going slightly too far,
No,
Stephen.
plastic baseball bats, like the wiffle ball ones.
Oh, those still left a mark, dude.
Yeah. Okay, so funny
Anyway.
funny anecdote about baseball. So one time my dad was teaching me how to bat. So we go to the park. Me, my mom and my sister are gonna meet us later at the park. So my dad's pitching to me and I'm practicing batting and my new bat. We're just practicing. And my sister sees my dad, and she decides to run to him. And I think I'm 6, so I have no concept of spatial awareness, and neither does my sister. She runs into my backswing. I hit my sister in the eye with an aluminum bat. Sorry, Melanie.
Meh.
But she
She's
was
fine.
fine. But that and then we used to play this game called Boom Boom, where she would take our plastic bats and go after us with the bat.
Yeah, fair enough. Boom boom. Makes
Yeah,
sense. Makes
she was
complete
young
sense.
and she had a swing like that hurt.
Hey Melanie, if you're listening to this, bring back Boom Boom.
No,
Send me a video.
no, I don't need to be hit by a plastic bat. I don't even think we have them anymore.
Nah. I think Steven needs to be hit with the plastic bat.
Sure, more
I'll
comedy.
bring one down. I will find a plastic bat and bring one down just so that we can play Boom Boom.
Sounds good. You know, she did it when she was 3, but yeah, no, now that she's what, 27?
Yeah. Yeah.
26, she'll do it again.
I don't know. I think she and I are the same age. Or
No, she's
about.
26, 3 years younger than me.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Anyway, so Maggie puts a paper flower in Peter's face and says, "It smells nice." And Peter just goes, "It's paper, honey." Peter, what's wrong with you? Peter then goes to say goodnight to Jack, gives him a special pocket watch, tells him that it is time for him to be in charge and that this will help him tell time. Maggie doesn't want Mom to go out, and I just write, well, if this isn't very clear that the children are going to disappear or the parents are going to disappear, someone's disappearing, I don't know what is. I don't know which one is disappearing, but like one group of the people is disappearing. Either the kids are going bye-bye or the parents are going bye-bye. One of the two.
Fair. Good.
We cut to Peter giving a speech. He thanks everyone for being there, and everyone probably doesn't have much in common except this wonderful woman, Wendy Angela Darling. Is that the actual name of Wendy in the original Peter Pan too?
Yes, it is.
Okay, cool. I was just making sure because I just remember her as Wendy the entire time.
No, I just call Wendy Angela Darling. Yeah.
Okay, great. So then, he continues to explain that she taught him to read and to write, found him parents in America, helped him get adopted. She's loved so many children effortlessly, and that's her achievement. Now, many in the room tonight were once lost children, but Granny Wendy saved us all and saved you. Wendy, meanwhile, is either getting very emotional or she's about to croak. There are two options in the way that Maggie Smith is playing this right now.
Emotional. It's all emotion.
I was erring on emotion, but like there's the 5% chance that Wendy's gonna drop dead.
Jeez, man. It's not that kind of movie.
I don't know what kind of movie it is.
Okay.
All I know about it is that Robin Williams is in it, and it's the Peter Pan world.
Okay.
This is all the information I've been given.
Fair.
I did know one other thing. Young Dante Basco.
Yeah, he's in it.
Yeah. That was the only other thing that I knew.
Okay.
Oh no, she might have croaked. Ow! What do you want me to do?
The way you say it, though, it's wrong.
Well, she's gonna do one of the two things. I don't know which. Good news. It's definitely the first one.
Okay.
She's just emotional. So then the speech continues, and members of the audience slowly start standing and quietly gesturing to show their appreciation to Wendy. Soon the whole room stands. Wendy is very emotional, and Peter says, "You know what? We all do have something in common. We're all orphans." Which is beautiful. But also, maybe not everyone in that room is an orphan, but maybe she still helped them.
Most of the men who stood up, the men who stood up and bowed.
I think the men were definitely orphans. I'm just saying, like, because when the entire room stood up, I'm like, that entire room being full of only orphans is a stretch, but like, I get the sentiment. I can live with it.
Yeah.
Right.
It was beautiful.
It was beautiful. It was a great sentiment.
And they revealed
Meanwhile,
the thing.
oh,
They revealed the wing, the hospital wing.
Oh yeah, we're about to get to that.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. I mean, because there's a lot that happens as they reveal the wing.
Oh
and
yeah.
Things are going on, right? So meanwhile, at the house, a storm is brewing outside, and the dog is barking. Just had to blow my nose.
They're barking like they used to in India when we used to film
Yeah,
episodes.
yeah.
That was such an issue.
That was a time.
Yeah.
That was a good 4 months of recordings.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I was recording at like 1 o'clock in the morning.
It was hard.
Yeah, we got through it. Now, the old man, who is the oldest orphan, I believe his name is Toodles?
Toodles.
Toodles? Toodles.
Toodles.
Toodles sits up and says, hook, 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 with more and more intensity. And we see a ship in a bottle. And I'm like, Hook is back.
The Jolly Roger.
Yes. Now, the storm is making the doors rattle, and Jack wakes, so does Maggie. The handle on the door starts to open. Also, intriguing that the handle on the door is also like a little hook.
Mm-hmm.
I'm picking up on things. Meanwhile, just as this is all happening, they also unveiled the new wing of the hospital, which honestly looks like the majority of the hospital because it is in the middle of the entire hospital.
So my thought is they just took the middle building and said, we're just gonna rename it and then like rebuild it. Like inside, but it's the same, like they just wanted it to be the middle.
Yeah, I think so.
They
I
didn't
think
build a
that's
new
what
building,
happened.
they just named it after her.
And then like renovated it.
Yeah, exactly.
Like
It's
yeah,
like when you think of high school, we're like, we're gonna name a high school after you, and we're gonna, this is it. And it's like, well, no, it's the same high school, but we just put my name on it.
Right. It's like, hey, we're gonna name the theater or like the football field or something like after this person that went to this school, and it's like, thanks.
That'd be really cool. I would totally like if somebody was like, yeah, we're gonna name a theater after you. I'd be like, wow. I mean, there was a
Yeah.
joke with my housemates back in the day. They said, oh, you should open the Nieman. I'd like that would be a good name for a theater.
That would be a good name for a pub.
Oh, the Nieman. Come and get a beer from the good old Jewish Irish man.
Yeah, fair enough. No, that would be a good name for a pub. I'd go to that pub.
I'll tell my dad you said that. He'll love it.
Yeah, I'd go to the Nyman pub.
Sounds good.
Yeah. If it was close to me, I'd potentially make it my regular. I don't have a regular. I don't really go out much anymore.
I mean, pub life was the UK. I feel like I'm back in California. It's not as much.
It's not. Yeah, like we used to go to pubs all the time. We wouldn't even always drink at the pub. We'd just be like, all right, we'll see you at the pub.
Well, pubs,
And then I'd
pubs
go
had,
and I'd get a Sprite.
pubs had theaters.
But pubs had theaters, pubs had
Events.
food, like events. Like I remember sometimes I would go to a pub solely because my friend was like, "Do you want to go to a trivia night?" And I was like, "I'm bad at trivia, but sure." Like,
The
I'll come
trivia
hang
would be
out.
great. I mean, I'd still get a beer and I'd still get some really good food. I mean, oh my gosh, the food at the Holly Bush was like top tier.
Dude, food at most pubs in England was pretty good.
My favorite pub food that I had. So the Drayton Arms pub was very expensive pub food, but good pub
Mhm.
food. Very expensive but good pub food. Their steak sandwich, their steak sandwich they used to do at lunchtimes was
Yeah.
so good, and it would come with like a little side of gravy, and you just dip the steak sandwich in the gravy, and it have this like the spicy yellow mustard. Oh my gosh! But I remember the chicken sandwich also being very good, and that's something Ankit could have had.
Yeah.
The
I mean,
the veggie burger was good too. You guys
I had the
it.
veggie burger there. It was really good.
I remember the amount of times you and Naresh showed up, and I was like, "You guys want a free burger?" And you're like, "Yes."
Again, you had me at free.
I did, but the burger was also very good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Also, that picture of us celebrating my like last night in England at the Drayton Arms came up on my phone the other day.
No, the picture that the three of us have at the airport when we were saying bye to you came up the other day.
Naresh, if you're watching this episode, we miss you, buddy. You're
we
amazing.
miss you, bud.
I hope
Yeah.
our lawsuit goes well.
Yeah. Anyway, moving on because we can't talk about
can't
that.
talk about
Anyway,
that.
so the storm is making the doors rattle and everything, but not just the doors at home. It's also like having weird gusts of air come in at the event. And Wendy feels this, and Wendy collapses a little bit, and you know, see, I'm not completely wrong. She might have croaked.
Okay.
I'm not completely unjustified. I'm glad that she didn't. Don't get me wrong. I'm so happy that she is living.
Yes.
But like, you see where I could see why she might have just, dun dun. Whoops.
Dun dun. Whoops. That's what it's called now. Okay. We need to change all the definitions of death to dun dun. Whoops. So from now on, every time we do a podcast, if somebody dies, we're gonna call it a dun dun whoops. So we did Lovely Bones, which by the way, that episode does come out on our podcast a week from recording, 2 weeks from recording this episode, so they might arrive at the same time.
They might actually be around the exact same time.
So Lovely Bones, there's somebody who dies in there. I wish we had this podcast before, so we could have been called it every time somebody died. We could have been like the dun dun whoops.
There's only one death in that movie.
I just know we're gonna film book 5 of a series of fortunate events, and I'm definitely using the term dun dun whoops.
Nobody dies in that.
When somebody does, I will use dun dun whoops.
Okay.
Jeez, Ankit. I'm gonna use it in my. Can you do your model? I have auditions for my musical tonight. I'm gonna stop someone in the middle of going, can you do your monologue like a dun dun whoops? They're gonna be like, what? Oh, I'll have to explain the whole thing to them.
For anyone that's been listening to this show for a while, yeah, this is pretty on brand for me though.
Let's keep going. How close are we to the end of this episode?
Fairly close. We're almost there.
Okay, because I mean, this episode, what, hour 10 already?
Yeah. We just Peter's gotta learn who he is. That's pretty much where we're at, right? So there's a big green flashing light, and then we're back at the house. Cool. Good news, Wendy's fine. They are all back at the house, and the house has gotten broken into. The lights don't work.
Where the door blew open, and the kids are screaming, and the chairs and the
that's also
popped up.
That's with all the big green flashes. It's chaos, right?
The children are screaming, and you don't know where they are, and all this.
No. So in that portion, I was like, so the children are the kidnapped ones. Bye.
Yeah.
Look, I knew one of the groups was disappearing. I didn't know which one.
Well, adults can't go to Neverland.
Huh?
Adults can't go to Neverland. That's one of the rules.
I forgot that rule.
You can never grow up. That's the rule of Neverland.
But then, why are there pirates?
The only adults that are allowed in Neverland are the pirates. Because, well, there's a whole story about how Captain Hook got there. Apparently, he got lost at sea and, ended up there.
Okay. I don't know. Sure. Lovely. Anyway, so we're back at the house. The lights don't work. We don't hear from Liza or Toodles. And they head up the stairs and they find Liza. And Liza apparently couldn't call out when they called her name. Great, lovely. The wind came up. The doors closed on me. The children were screaming. They burst into the room and there is no Jack. There is no Maggie. They have disappeared. Meanwhile, Wendy has found a note stuck to the door by a sword. Just a quick note.
Was it dagger?
Peter and Moira literally just ran through this exact same door. But you know what? I'll cut them some slack. Tunnel vision. I gotta go save my kids and check if my kids are okay, right? So I'll cut them some slack. But also, you did just run through the exact same door.
Well, tunnel vision. They were going.
This is why I said I'll cut them slack. Tunnel vision.
I mean, how many times have you walked by when we were living together? How many times have we walked by something that was there and we just didn't see it and we're like, where's
the number of times that I walked through the living room and didn't notice you sitting in the living room
until you came back with your tea.
I came back with my tea and I was like, oh, when did you get here? And you were like, I watched you go into the kitchen.
I paused my episode so you could.
No. If the TV was on, I clocked you. But sometimes when you were just sitting in the living room reading or something.
Oh yeah, quietly.
I didn't clock you in the corner. I was just like, all right, we're gonna go to the kitchen.
Had the light on.
Yeah. I just didn't always clock you because I was doing my own thing.
There.
Anyway, so the note reads, Dear Peter, your presence is required at the request of your children. Kindest personal regards, J.A.S. Hook, Captain. I love that Peter reads it as Jas Hook Captain.
It's supposed to be, I think it's an apostrophe of James. It's a lower, it's a abbreviation.
Okay. Toodles comes in, and Toodles really jumping up this list on my favorite characters in this film. Goes, have to fly, have to fight, have to crow, have to save the Maggie, have to save Jack. Hookie's back. Love this guy. Love him. He's great. Toodles, no notes. Now,
have to fly, have to crawl.
Peter's just
have to fight, have to save Maggie, have to save Drac.
Yeah.
He's back.
He's more to that vibe than what I did, but yeah.
I mean, it's geniusly delivered.
It is incredibly delivered. Now, Peter has forgotten all about his adventures as Peter Pan, but like, does everyone else remember? And then Wendy faints, kind of. I don't know.
Hmm.
Wendy's weak. Wendy faints, and now the police are here. They say that the lab will analyze the note. They have wired the phones, and there will be personnel outside at all times. The inspector says that this could have all been a prank, and Peter's upset by this. And then he goes, "Well, with the literary history of the family, well, let's hope so." It seems like everybody knows about the literary history of this family except for Peter.
Oh no, he knows. He just doesn't believe in it.
Oh, okay.
Like everyone knows about literary history, and like, but he's just like, it's not a real story. That's his like opinion, and that's what a lot of the people feel. They know it's not a real
Okay.
story. They knew it was something that Wendy and the kids, John and Michael, made up.
Okay. Where are John and Michael?
Presumably not alive anymore by the time this story.
Presumably done.
Yeah, done done. Presumably done done. Yeah, done done done. Because men, we done earlier than women.
Well, we do a lot more dumb things.
Dumb ways to die. So many dumb ways to die.
we're surprisingly good at them.
Dumb ways to done done.
There's the new remix of this song.
There you go. You were working on a rhythm last time, I think. So there's your rhythm, buddy.
There's my rhythm. Yeah, I think yesterday when we were having the phone call. So now it's just like, all right, cool. Let's see. Toodles comes back in and goes, "He's forgotten how to fly. No more happy thoughts. Lost. Toodles, I love you." Peter then, is talking to Wendy, says that the police will do everything they can. And Wendy's just like, "The police will do nothing." And then he's like, "Should we call the American police?" And then I love, yeah, because that's the solution. Wendy just goes, "In a crisis, we English always make a cup of tea." Which is so true.
Oh yeah, the amount of
And I love
times,
it.
I think Sammy and I were hanging out, and she'd be like, "I'm gonna go make you tea now." I'm like, "Yay!"
Yeah.
I drink
I started doing that as well.
so
Like,
much
I was just like,
tea, so much tea.
I have grown to like tea
I
a
love
lot
tea. My
more.
favorite is when I wake up in the morning when we were living together, and Naresh was like boiling chai.
Oh,
The
yeah, no.
smell, the smell in the morning would just make the house smell
And then
so.
you were never home in the afternoon when I would make chai.
No, unless I was, and then you would share
It
it.
was, yeah, like, I mean, we would always just make chai for the whole house and be like, "There's chai, drink."
My favorite though was like, "Hey, Naresh, have you seen my bagels? Yeah. Can I have one? Sure."
Fair. Anyway, so Wendy tells Peter to stay and sends Moira off to go make the tea and asks him to hand her the book. Wendy says that it's time to tell you at last, and Wendy asks how far back he can remember. He remembers the hospital on Great Ormond Street. "You worked with orphans. You taught me to read." And so I was like, okay, so he doesn't seem to remember that he used to be Peter Pan. Like, he has no memory of that ever happening.
Mm-hmm.
Is so like, this is that moment that I'm like, like that I mentioned earlier in the episode, where I'm like, there is something that will be revealed to us of why he can't remember.
Exactly.
Like, something has happened and he cannot remember. And Wendy arranged for the adoption by his American parents. Wendy says that he was nearly 12, nearly 13. Does he remember anything before that? And there was nothing before that. Wendy implores him to try more, and he just has nothing, right? And so Wendy says that when she was young, no other girl held his favor the way she did. She half expected him to alight the church and forbid her wedding vows on her wedding day. She wore a pink satin sash, but you didn't come. Again, just like that baseball, I feel like this pink satin sash might come back because it is way too specific. And then they get like really close, like they're gonna kiss close with their faces, and then Peter just goes, "Grandma?" And then Wendy's just like, "Yes, I was an old lady when I wrapped you in blankets as a grandmother." with my 13-year-old granddaughter asleep in the bed, Moira. And I was like, ow, that explains how Moira's connected to everything. Okay, great.
Yeah, Moira is Wendy's biological granddaughter, and that's why Wendy would know of the kids, because she's their great grandmother.
Yeah. Like,
It was
makes
that
so much sense.
simple. I that's what you had to take your headphones off for. That's what I explained.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. Great. So when you saw her, that was when you decided not to go back to Neverland. And I was like, oh, this explains a lot. And it explains how Moira and Peter are so close to Gran and why Peter decided to grow up. Like, it explains so many things in such a succinct way.
Yes.
I think it's done very, very well in terms of
Yes.
storytelling. Like, it is incredibly well done for storytelling because, like, great. Like, I was coming in and I was like, okay, I know that there has to be a reason Peter doesn't remember all of this, but what's our reasoning? And they've explained it in like 2 minutes. Very succinct, very straightforward. Here you go. Let's go. Like, it's not, it is very important to the plot, but I love that they made it, they didn't drag it out.
No.
So Peter's like, where? And then Wendy's like, to Neverland. Peter panics, calls for Moira, and says that maybe the tea is ready. I'm going to go get her. And Wendy has tried to tell him so many times, and she knew that he had forgotten. Wendy starts getting upset. Peter says that he isn't ready to deal with this right now. And Wendy just says, the stories are true. I swear to you. I swear on everything I adore. And now he's come back to seek his revenge. The fight isn't over for Captain James Hook. He wants you back. Knows you'll follow Maggie and Jack to the ends of the earth. By heaven, you must find a way. Only you can save your children. You must make yourself go back. You must make yourself remember. And Peter's just like, remember what? And Wendy's like, Peter, you don't know who you are. And so then she opens the book, flips to the page that has Peter Pan in it, and he is standing the exact same way with his hands on his hips. And she tells him, and it clicks to him, that he is Peter Pan from the stories.
No, he doesn't believe it.
Okay, it clicks that's what she is trying to tell him.
Yes.
Like, but he doesn't believe that he is Peter Pan from the stories. But he understands what Wendy is finally trying to get through his head.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That's where we're ending the episode.
Yay!
Woo! Wonderful. I'm excited. So this is what I'm thinking is happening. Peter's going to go back, obviously, and it's going to take a bit before he gets his powers back, but he's going to get his powers back, and he's going to meet up with the Lost Boys, and they are going to save the kiddos, and then, you know, he's going to save the kiddos. He's going to repair his relationship with his kids, with his wife, but I don't think Wendy is making it out of this movie living.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
I think the end of the movie is going to be slightly sad with Wendy passing away, or the other alternate ending is that they all decide to move back to London and live with Wendy.
Oh, okay.
So I see one of those two things happening.
Fair.
But yeah, I'm intrigued. I don't know what's going to happen next. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Wonderful. If people want to find you on the internet, Stephen, how can they?
They can find me on my Instagram, S917, or they could watch me on YouTube, youtube.com/cohost with my buddy Ankit here. Or if you want to support my directing career, you can go on sndirector.com. That's where I post all my portfolios and upcoming shows sometimes. So,
yeah,
you'll hear more if you follow us on social media. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed the episode. I love being on post finale because it's not as much work as when I do flip the scripts.
Yeah, I have less work on flip the scripts than I do for personality. Like, it balances out. Cool. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for listening. Be sure to join back next week. Steven's going to be back, and I think we're going to end up in Neverland, so we're going to actually see how Peter deals with all of that. But until next week, I'll catch y'all later.
To the second star on the right. Bye.
Bye! Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Post Finale. Post Finale is created and hosted by me, Ankit Madhira. It is produced by Ankit Madhira and Stephan Nieman. The music is by Ankit Madhira and Megan Hutchison. The art is by Jarid Rother, and our editor is Servellon. If you like the show, please follow us on social media at coopforge, CO_OPFORGE on Instagram and TikTok and Facebook to keep up to date on everything that's happening with the podcast. And you can also follow at Post Finale Pod on Instagram if you just want updates for this show. Talk about us on social media. It really does help us out a lot. And thank you to anyone who has done this in the past or who will do this in the future. If you want to support in a monetary way and get access to some bonus content, you can do so by heading over to patreon.com/coopforge. That's patreon.com/CO_OPFORGE. And all the money raised on that Patreon goes directly back into the show to make it a better experience for you, the listeners. We just want to create good content while not being in the red while doing so. And your support means the world to us. If you can support in a non-monetary way, that's great as well. Just tell a friend about the show. Word of mouth is the best way to grow the show, and it really does help us out a lot. Leave a rating or review, subscribe, follow on whatever podcast app you are listening on. If you're listening on our YouTube channel, Co-op Forge, please hit a follow. If you're listening on another app, if you could do us a favor and go hit us follow on our YouTube channel, it would help us out. If we hit 100 subscribers on our YouTube channel, we got a special thing coming out for you all. But until then, thank you all so much for listening to this episode of Post Finale, and be sure to join us next week as we get on to more shenanigans. And until then, I'll catch y'all later.